The Members Mark golf ball is a budget urethane golf ball that you can buy while you're picking up your bulk household essentials at Sam's Club in the USA. But although your membership may bring you great savings on household items, does that apply to its golf ball? Well, today we're going to put that to the test. So Sam's Club is a membership-only warehouse chain that's owned by Walmart in the USA and is very similar in its principles to something like Costco. And as these companies move into the golf space, we need to understand, is the equipment they're providing us good value, or is it just cheap? Well, today we're going to put the Members Mark golf ball through my standard golf ball testing process. So I'm going to hit some 50-yard pitch shots with this golf ball. I'm then going to hit 8-iron and driver, not only at my speed, but also average golfer speed. And we're going to check out that data as we go through that process. Once we've done that, I'm going to cut this golf ball open just to confirm its construction. And I've also taken this golf ball out onto the golf course, and I'll give you my opinion of it in real-world testing. Now, to complete this comprehensive test of the Members Mark golf ball, I'll then create a Grahame scorecard for this golf ball where we'll rank it across various metrics. And finally, I'll add it into our budget golf ball rankings, so as you know if this is worth picking up in Sam's Club the next time you're there to pick up your bulk buy tissues, your chicken pot pie, and your all butter croissants. Right, so let's get this golf ball on the launch monitor, and we're going to start with our 50-yard pitch shots. Right, so let's get that data for 50-yard pitch shots straight up on the screen here. And the first thing that we can see is that I had this golf ball spinning at 5,908 RPM. And this is really quite a nice amount of spin for this golf ball. It's not as high as some of the highest spinning balls that we've seen, but it is of a really good number and would give me some confidence that it's going to perform well on these shots. Also, what is interesting is this is very, very similar in its spin number to our current budget leader, the Legato LTX 3085. So launch was a bit higher than I would like to see at 31.2 degrees. I would much prefer to see a ball of this nature launching at around about 28 degrees or so, but I'm not overly concerned about this, and it's not on a really extreme number that concerns me massively. So fundamentally that wasn't too bad a start for the Members Mark golf ball, but now let's take it back outside. Let's hit some 8-irons at my normal speed and also at average golfer speed, which is around 75 miles an hour of club head speed. Okay, so just before we pop 8-iron data up on the screen here, just a reminder that within my testing that I've done, I've tended to generally find that most golf balls within 7 or 8-iron and mid-iron tend to carry approximately the same distance. It's just a question of how they actually get there. Now, if you want to catch up with all my budget ball testing, I'll pop a quick link up in the corner there. And for any of the non-Sam's Club golf balls, if you head down into the description, there's some links there where you can purchase those balls. Right, okay, so let's pop the 8-iron data up on the screen, and we're going to do that first for average golfer speed. And you can see I had this golf ball spinning at 5,778 RPM. Now again, that's not the highest spinning golf ball that I've seen at this swing speed, but it's a very, very solid number, and just goes to show that the construction of this golf ball with a urethane cover is actually doing a decent amount of work. So launch was once again a little bit higher than I would like to see at 21.7 degrees, but I'm not overly concerned about this again, and with this kind of average swing speed, getting the ball up in the air with decent launch and a reasonable amount of spin can actually be quite beneficial to aiding carry distance. So it's nothing that really concerns me with this golf ball. I don't feel that it's really going to impact its performance at average golfer speed with an 8-iron. So I had this ball carrying at 124.7 yards, and again that's just solidly within the range that I tend to see golf balls carry with an 8-iron at this sort of club head speed. The positive for this golf ball, it is doing it very much more like a tour ball would do it, with a reasonable launch and a good amount of spin. Right, so let's swap that data out and let's pop 8-iron at my speed up on the screen. And you can see I had this ball spinning at 5,872 RPM. And again, that's a pretty solid spin number for this sort of golf ball. Again, it's not market leading, but it's pretty much in the range that I would expect it to be. So launch was again up a little bit higher than I would like, and at my speed that was launching at 21.1 degrees. Now I much prefer to see a urethane golf ball launching at around about 19 degrees at my speed with an 8-iron, and when I get balls launching up there at 21 at my speed, I do begin to get a little bit concerned about what sort of carry number I'm going to achieve from this ball. And this proved to be the case with this golf ball. Now with an 8-iron I would usually expect to see a ball carrying around about the 163 yard mark, and obviously I tend to have a range of slightly shorter than that and a little bit longer than that, but when we get balls that sit on the very extreme of that, they're either considered to be very long or perhaps they're on the shorter side. And we have a look, the carry distance I was getting from this golf ball was only 158.9 yards. Now I'm not sure I can put that purely down to this being slightly higher launching, but I did feel that I hit a number of really good solid shots that I would have expected to end up in the 160 to 165 yard carry distance range, and this ball never ever really seemed to get there, and I was really struggling to get this ball over 160 yards, meaning that as it stands with an 8-iron at my speed, this is one of the shortest ball that I've actually tested. Okay, so let's now go and test the Members Mark golf ball with driver. I'm going to do that at my gaming speed and also average golfer speed that's around 95 miles an hour club head speed. And let's see if this ball is fast, average or slow. Okay, so let's pop driver average golfer speed up on the screen here, and the first thing we can see is that I had a club head speed of 91.4 miles an hour, and that was creating a ball speed of 138.2 miles an hour. And that's a pretty solid bang for your buck at this sort of club head speed. This ball is actually converting club head speed into ball speed pretty solidly. So I had this ball spinning at 2,446 RPM, and that tends to be on the slightly lower side of what I see even at this club head speed. Now it's not a worryingly low spin number, you'll still get the ball up there, you'll still get some carry, but with this slightly lower number it means you might not be robbed of a few yards of carry. And when we look at carry distance, we can clearly see that. I had the golf ball carrying at 214.4 yards. Now that is solidly within the range that I expect to see, but it's certainly in the better half of the numbers. Okay, so let's swap that data out and let's pop driver at my speed up on the screen here. And I had a club head speed of 106.4 miles an hour. That meant I was about 1 mile an hour club head speed down on where I would normally be. And I had a ball speed of 159.1 miles an hour. Now with that sort of club head speed, I was never likely to get my ball speed over 160 miles an hour, but I was quite pleased to see it being 159.1. And again, it's a nice solid conversion of club head speed into ball speed, even at my club head speed. Spin was just over 2,600 RPM, and again that's just pretty much solidly in the range that I expect to be spinning my driver, so nothing again particularly unusual or worrying with this ball. So taking all those factors into account, I had this ball carrying 262.6 yards, and again that's just a pretty solid carry number and exactly where I'd expect it to see. Well, make of that data what you will, but for me, for a really budget value proposition golf ball, this seemed to perform quite well given the numbers, with the exception of 8 iron shots at my speed, which were a real outlier and somewhat disappointing. So I cut 2 of these golf balls open in my testing and I couldn't see any issues with any manufacturing problems, although obviously it's an exceptionally small sample size to be testing. But as we cut this golf ball open, you can clearly see this is a really nicely coloured golf ball in the middle, making it really clear for us to see the core, the mantle and the urethane cover. So before we cover off my thoughts, put this ball into a Grahame scorecard and add it to the budget golf ball rankings, I took this golf ball out over to the golf course to give it a test. And I hit some chip shots with this golf ball and it performed pretty much how I would expect it to, and it felt pretty decent. I then did some putts with this golf ball and the ball rolled well and I didn't have any issue with any things like distance control. I then took this golf ball out on the golf course for a few holes and I played a par 3 with this ball, and apart from me hitting a little bit of a push, this ball performed as expected. It landed on the green, and although it left me a long putt, it still gave me a chance of making a solid par. I then took it onto one of the par 4s, and as you'll see from this shot, I hit a really lovely little fade off the left-hand fairway bunker that went out there a really strong distance. That left me a little delicate chip shot into the green, which I actually played really solidly. The ball performed really well, and I got it close enough that I could tap it in for a birdie. So I had no real concerns with this golf ball out on the golf course in real world playing conditions. So this golf ball has a compression rating of around 90, and that puts it very firmly in line with a lot of the golf balls that it's trying to imitate, such as the Pro V1 and the TaylorMade TP5. Now, I wouldn't say this ball feels particularly soft, but also I wouldn't say it was really firm. So for a golf ball that, when I checked on Sam's Club website, is retailing for around $30 for 2 dozen golf balls, that's around $15 a dozen. That's about $1.25 per ball. This ball appears to be absolutely insane value, and I'm really not quite sure how Sam's Club can manage to manufacture a golf ball of this nature and sell it for that sort of price. Now, my only thing I probably could think is that, let's face it, no one's really just going into Sam's Club to buy 2 dozen Members Mark golf balls, so they're probably able to absorb some of the manufacturing costs along with the bulk and mass purchases that people who own a membership to Sam's Club are probably making, and that's likely how they can keep the cost of this golf ball down to such a low figure. So is this ball a Pro V1? Well, quite simply, no, it's not a Pro V1. However, if you're the sort of golfer that wants urethane performance, but you're a person that either has a very tight budget or you tend to lose a number of golf balls out on the golf course, then the fact that you can buy 2 dozen of these golf balls for $30 and you can actually buy 3 dozen of these golf balls for less than a dozen Pro V1s, and with the performance that you're getting from this golf ball, doesn't feel like a particularly bad proposition to me. So performance across the test was generally solid, with the exception of the anomaly around 8 iron shots at my speed. And I don't quite know how to explain that. I felt I was hitting the ball solidly. This ball just wasn't able to give me the yardage that I was expecting. So could I play this golf ball? Well, yes, I could play this golf ball. It doesn't have quite the spin characteristics that I would like, and certainly before I took it out onto the golf course again, I'd want to do some significant more testing on irons to make sure that I wasn't seeing any further anomalies, because the one thing I wouldn't want to be doing would be giving up yardage with my iron shots. That would be something that would make me not play this ball. But I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt for the moment and say yes, I could play this golf ball. Right, so let's now put a Grahame scorecard together for the Sam's Club Members Mark golf ball. And for driver distance, I'm going to give this ball 8 out of 10. It performed exactly how I would expect it to and created the distances that I was looking for. And any golf ball that does that through my testing gets a very solid rating of 8 out of 10. For iron spin, I'm going to give this ball 8 out of 10. Again, it sits very much in that range that I would expect to see from urethane golf balls, but it is towards the slightly lower end of those golf balls. So if you're a person looking for a urethane golf ball but not looking to generate too much spin, then this could be a good option. For short game control, I'm going to give this ball 8 out of 10. Its construction and its cover means that it performs much closer to a tour ball than to a budget golf ball, although I would always like it to have a little bit more spin than it does. For feel, I'm going to give this ball 8 out of 10. If you like how a Pro V1 golf ball feels, then you're probably going to reasonably enjoy this one. And finally, regarding value for money, this is a no-brainer. I'm giving this ball 10 out of 10 for value for money. At around about $30 for 2 dozen golf balls that are urethane covered and perform as well as they have done, this is absolutely crazy value for a golf ball. Right, so let's now add the Sam's Club Members Mark golf ball into our budget golf ball rankings. And still sitting at the very bottom is the Amazon Basics. That's followed by the Callaway Super Soft and the Wilson Duo Soft. Next up is the Titleist Velocity, and then the Srixon AD333, and bringing up the bottom half of our table is the TaylorMade Distance Plus. So as we head into the top half of our rankings, we then see the TaylorMade Speedsoft Ink. Just above that is the Cut Blue. Next up is the outrageously fast Srixon Ultispeed. And next up then is the Titleist True Fill. Now that means that the Sam's Club Members Mark has made it into my top 3 budget balls. So finally getting knocked off the second spot is the Callaway Warbird Distance Plus. And that means that in second place in my budget ball rankings, I'm now putting the Sam's Club Members Mark golf ball. Now I'm keeping the Legato LTX3085 at the top of my budget ball rankings. It is significantly more expensive than the Members Mark ball. However, it just showed no weaknesses across any of its testing, and therefore it has to remain as number 1 in my budget ball rankings. If there's a golf ball that you would like me to test, then make sure to head down into the comments and pop it there, and if I can get my hands on it, I will test it. If you found value in this content, then make sure to leave a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of my upcoming ball tests and any other content coming from the channel. And I'll pop the playlist for all of my budget golf balls right here for you, so as you can find the perfect budget golf ball for your game. I'm Grahame, and I'll catch you on the course soon.